Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. Today we're going to do a quick question and answers. We're just going to blast through them. I had people, actually the only people who responded were on Facebook.com/cocktailtv. I asked a question, ask me anything, I'm going to give you some answers. Here are the answers for today. Hopefully I can keep just rolling these videos out and just doing some quick Q&A, get as much information that people ask. Ask me a question, put it in the comments below. It could be anything. I don't care what it is. Ask it. Here we go. Joey asks, by far, what is the worst drink you've ever had and why? ABC Shooter was pretty bad. There's been a couple other ones. I have a top playlist for worst cocktails, but that's the first one that comes to mind. Anything where you're doing shots with absinthe, bad. Timothy asks, have you ever looked into or asked a physician whether ingesting small amounts of alcohol on a regular basis has either positive or negative effects on the body? It seems that doing a show where you taste and sometimes finish quite a bit of several cocktails in a sitting may have some influence on your physiology at some point. Perhaps, but I don't really drink. So that's it. Friday nights, let's say we consume, and on bad night, we do a contest. Maybe we have 3 cocktails. So I ask you, how many beers does an average person have in a night? Or a week? For me, let's assume 3 cocktails an entire week. So that's not that much, I don't think. So let's see if there's going to be any physical problem with that. I don't really drink outside of Friday nights when we tape. Alright, next question. And no, I haven't asked a physician, but I do have to get a checkup because I just should. James writes, how's the weather? It sucks! Today we had half an inch of snow. Tomorrow the weather people are like, oh, there's going to be mayhem and madness and craziness. Yeah, half an inch of snow shuts down Georgia, whatever. Here, we laugh at an inch of snow. We're supposed to be getting them measured in feet. Those are these things. But I don't think that's actually a unit of measure. Brody writes, have you taken any formal wine bartending food courses? No. What got you into martial arts and how long have you been teaching it for? What got me into martial arts? I don't remember. I was 6. But I've been doing it for a while. So from 6 until probably now. I took a break from college on. So I hit black belt at 18 in Shaolin Kempo. Then I took off for college, like literally the next year. And then I got back into it probably 3 years ago, so I've been a black belt since '95, but I haven't been training that long because I had that break, then I had kids, family, blah. So I'm back into it. How long have I been teaching? A couple of years. Right now I'm back in training mode because if you're a black belt and you know this, you never quit learning. Next, what's your favorite cocktail garnish and why? Oh, this was written by Clarissa. Last one was Ricky. Clarissa writes, what's your favorite cocktail garnish and why? Best cocktail garnish ever, I would say probably a big-ass piece of pineapple. Why? Because I like pineapple. That's really it. Big old pineapple. Carrie writes, what are the most common substitutions for less popular alcohol brands like Sherry Herring, Sherry Brandy, Benedictine, Jaeger, etc.? A cool chart of or a discussion about flavors and their inherent flavor profiles, mixing profiles. There is no chart, there is no substitution for a lot of those. Benedictine, Jaeger, they're all custom, home-built, brewed, whatever, distilled, macerated blends. So, I will ask you this. What is the appropriate substitution for a Porsche 911? Who the heck knows? Something you like. Maybe you can't get it. Okay, what are you going to substitute? Some people would say a Miata. Why? Because it's affordable, it's a convertible, and it's small. Some people might say an Audi TT. That's what I have. I could have went with Boxer or TT. I picked one or the other. You know, I went with that brand. When it comes to secret recipes, we don't even know what's in them. So you can't really substitute them. That's what's so awesome. If you go to Germany, or you go to England, or you go to Ireland, you will find, or even the U.S., New Hampshire, you can find microbreweries. And you cannot get this stuff anywhere else but at those breweries. That is what makes the world so awesome and international so cool. Because there is no way to just substitute everything. You have to experience it all. And sometimes you can't. And that's what makes you want to experience it and travel. Alright, let's see. Joe, what... Oh, my troops are ready for battle. What are the most... I did that one. Joe, what got you into the spirits world doing reviews? I was looking for a challenge. I was motivated to do something. Coding, it takes a long time. And so a lot of software development projects I was working on, as the business gets bigger and bigger, completing a lot of those takes more and more manpower. But I can control my destiny in a video format. I like to be a public speaker. I like to speak. I like to give keynotes and keep people energized and enthusiastic. And there wasn't a lot of alcohol shows, so I figured, well, hell not. If you could use a licensed song or instrumental work as a theme to your show, what would it be? I'm going to go with maybe Cell Phone from No More Kings, because it's cool. Or, of course, you could go Sweep the Leg. Any of their albums would be awesome outros. Let's see. If you could, and I may have them be able to do the singer's supposed to be doing a lead-in for our show, so that would be cool. If you could, no, Rick writes, in your old videos of the perfect margarita, you suggest 3/4 of a shot of a couple ingredients. Is that 3/4 of 1.5 ounces, or what? Industry standard shot. There isn't an industry standard, but if there were a bunch of people who were trying to sit around a table and come up with what it would be about an ounce. So when you hear people say, one shot this, one shot this, one shot this, one shot this, there's two ways you could look at it. 1 ounce this, 1 ounce this, 1 ounce this, 1 ounce this, one part, one part, one part, one part. Doesn't really matter as long as you keep it parts. So 3/4 of a part, whatever it is. If you want to go with ounce, it's 3/4 of an ounce. In my case, with those videos, I could tell you it was supposed to be an ounce. I just said it wrong. Let's see. Michael writes, what products do you like or would you like to have in your bar DNA that you're unable to get in the area or via the internet? So if there were a product that I'd like to have in my portfolio that I would serve for other people, I would probably go right now, off the top of my head, Havana Club, because that's the only one I know of that I can't get. There are some awesome absinthes at this place in Heidelberg that I was at that I'd like to get, some reds and blues and greens. A chocolate blue curacao from Senior, but I probably can get that if I tried hard enough. So for me, it's a little different because I can usually find somebody to give me stuff, but that right there, my friends, would probably be my best answer. Jeremy writes, what influenced or made you think to start a cocktail show on YouTube? Have you ever had anyone recognize you on the streets from your show? First problem, what has influenced me? I would go with Gary Vaynerchuk from Wine Library TV as one of the first, Dig Nation, Alex Albrecht, and Kevin Rose, the Twit folks over at This Week at Tech, Leo Laporte, a lot of the techie guys, even, I can't remember all their names, but, No Agenda Show with Adam Curry, Dvorak, John C. Dvorak, another one of my influencers. So those are the kind of people that have influenced me to do what I do, and I'm writing a book on that, so it'll all kind of get covered in that. Alright, so let's see what else. Josh writes, I know I have some from Cody. Oh, there it is. Josh writes, how did everyone on CMC come together? Since the Kurd had been doing big things, will it affect... Oh, that's the second one. How did everybody come together? I will probably need to answer that in the next question, where how does everybody know each other? So we'll get to that, answering Josh's question when I get to Cody's. Alright, next. Oh yeah, since Kurt has been doing things, big things, will that affect his show future? No, because when he was working for a major brand, he had the same style of schedule, only worse. So he probably has more time now than he did before. I don't know, the restaurant hasn't opened yet. But in the end, Curtis will come out when he can, and I don't expect anything less. I run the show. I will be here every week. That's all that really matters to me. Any transient folks that come and go, Doug, Ian, they're part of the CMC family now, but I'm the one that I focus on always being prepared, ready, and energetic. Everyone else, when they get here, I like them here, but I don't want everybody here every week. It would just be the same thing over and over. Let's see. Joey writes, what's the worst drink that you've ever had and why? I think I answered that one, didn't I, Joey? I probably wrote it twice, so I did. Never mind. Cody writes, how does everybody on the show know each other? This is part of that follow-up question. Derek, Jennifer, Doug, Don, Curtis, Ian. Can you explain the terms? Oh, that's the next part. So, how do we know each other? Let's see. Derek, Jennifer, Don, and even kind of Doug. So Doug would probably be the first one. I met him at 7. He's my cousin by marriage. I was a little older. Maybe I was 7. He was younger. Either way, we've grown up together. He lived 20 minutes away. We saw each other pretty much every other weekend. Stayed over each other's house. Pretty much over my house. Most of summers long. By 7th grade, we came upon Dawn. Around the same time, Jennifer. So me and Jennifer, my wife, have been dating since 8th grade, and then she went to college at the same place I went to, so, we've pretty much been together since we were 13, 14. Dawn, around the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. Doug, earlier than that. Ian, college roommate, 2nd year. I met him maybe the 1st or 2nd year. Maybe he was the college roommate for the 3rd and 4th. And we met him on by a friend who we were playing some Dungeons and Dragons, and he came in and he was cool. And we actually started hanging out with Ian more than we hung out with his roommate. That was actually the person we knew. And then Ian became our roommate. Then he became a live-in roommate here when we first moved into the house. Then he got his own place, and now he lives 2 minutes down the road. But he's really from Maine. We kind of dragged him out here. So, can you explain the terms used in tastings? Nose, attack, front, middle, end. So, yes, no, maybe. So, when I think of the nose, it's the aroma. And the attack is that initial striking flavor that you get. It's usually going to be sweeter, but not always. These are some of the wine things. I've taken a lot of wine tastings, going back to that courses. I've taken courses, kind of, tastings with Gary Vaynerchuk. I've taken tastings with Absolute Vodka, but they're not courses. I didn't get graded. I didn't get tested. So there were a lot of things they use. The front of the tongue, middle of the tongue, end back is the back of the tongue. Sour typically there, depending on where, it's not the same for everybody, but where those nerves or the taste buds typically fire off and you get something. And if you start to taste, especially in wines, you can start to taste those different degrees. And burn is, I usually think of burn as something that's like strikingly hot. 151, you take a shot with 151, it burns. Like, it physically feels like your throat is on fire. Where with heat, back in heat, I usually think heat is the alcoholic taste, that ethanol that you get that kind of lingers, and you're like, I don't really know if I like that, or maybe I do. That's kind of the heat. When you drink something at room temperature, you get more of that alcohol in it than you do otherwise. That's kind of what I mean when I say heat. What is the difference between burn and heat? There you go. Burn is like, boom! Heat is more of a warm, okay, I could taste that. So I look at it as a degree of intensity. Peter writes, what exactly makes a tiki cocktail? For instance, must it contain rum, tropical fruit? Must it always have sour, sweet components? I don't really know. To me, it's whatever I want to do. Think tiki. The way I look at it is, if you make a drink and you sit down and it makes you go, this feels like a tiki drink, that's good enough for me. There's probably a better definition. I don't know what it is. I'm sure they're supposed to be pretty high in alcohol. They're supposed to have some sort of tropical flavor, because tiki is tropical. But it's a made-up sense of mind. Tiki is nothing that really exists. It was invented by a bartender, a theme restaurant owner, and you just follow the theme. And you look at different tiki recipes, and you riff off of that to come up with what it is. But it doesn't, I mean, it's a made-up concept. You work with what you get. Antonin writes, do you happen to have any collaborations in mind coming up? Have you lately been given any thought to new things on Common Man Cocktails? It really could be anything that could come up with to help build a wider audience. I'm not really looking to build a wider audience per se. I'm looking for consistency and growth through people liking what we do. I don't plan to change the show in order to attract new viewers, because to me that's disingenuous. The viewers I have today have been building, so I'm looking at it going, hey, if they like this, there's a bunch of other people. And it comes down to discovering our show and discovering what we do. And people discover it every day. I'm always finding new people, but there's really no way to just go out and instantly do that. And I'm writing a book on that a little bit, on explaining the trials and tribulations of basically starting from nothing. And when you start from nothing, you have no TV background, no history, you have no connections, you don't get any shout-outs from any famous people. You start here and you work your way up, and you struggle the entire time. That's part of growth, learning, living, and that's just how life works. So I treat the show as I would treat life. It's about building respect. And if you could build respect with other people, that's all that really matters in the end anyway. So any collaborations in mind? I've talked with John from Tipsy Bartender, and if I'm in LA, we'll do a collaboration, but he doesn't seem to be very fond of the idea of doing collaborations remotely and just kind of calling each other out. I will have some collaborations, probably for Valentine's Day, with other food pairing folks, but it's really a shout-out type of collaboration. One-on-one collaborations, dude, I'm in New Hampshire. Everybody's scattered all over the world. There's not much I could do in that way. I do hope Sky does do our call-out for us in the beginning of one of our episodes in the future. I've got 2 so far. One from Drinking with Dragons, one from Johnny Diablo. I'm supposed to get one from No More Kings, and Sky John, and Freezer Burns, and a bunch of other people. So we'll see as they come in. I'll start putting them in the front of the show. It'll be kind of neat. So, any new things coming from the CNC? More of the same. Hopefully get a few more outside episodes coming up. I want to do some more themes, some more creations. I will be doing an entire recipe series with OK Energy Drink, because they're going to pay me to. So I'll be doing that, so look for that in the upcoming future, and hopefully some new contests and stuff to go with awesomedrinks.com. After a long day at work and you get home, it may feel like a drink, you want to wind down with, what would you most likely go for? In theory, I'm going to say I would most likely go with maybe a scotch or a margarita, a bottle of red wine. It would be different depending on the season, in my mood. But that's not how I typically roll. When I come home, I never wind down. There's no winding down. It's, let's see, it's 10:54 at night. I've been rolling all day. I've worked all day. I've edited and filmed and launched a flashback episode for the January 2014 time frame. I've taken customer calls for work. I've taken some calls for some sponsorship brands for vodka. I went to karate for an hour. I came home, got the kids to bed, have to do some photo shoots for Awesome Drinks, promoted, answered the comments, and now I'm still writing a video. There is no wind down for me. I go, and then I just go to bed. And before bed, I'm usually working on the book I'm writing. And then around 1:30 or 2 in the morning, boom, it's time for sleep. By then, I'm usually a little bit tired, so I start to fall asleep, and I'm up again the next morning with coffee in hand. So my wind down, if it were like a Friday night or Saturday night, my wind down is a glass of warm decaf coffee or tea or iced tea or water, anything like that. Maybe infused with some lemon. That's kind of, like I said, I don't drink that much. So there you go. There's the questions of this day. I'm going to do this again. This time, since people get to see the format, leave your questions down below, and I'll build up a whole new list, something like I got here, 2 pages, and this was just a half a day worth of asking, and on one platform. We're done. We're teaching you how to drink.